So our app is Furrlo, a pioneering pet sitting app to help facilitate the pet sitting process. So we hope you enjoy our presentation. Oh gosh. It's in there. We just have to turn it up. Okay, well maybe not.
If you're onto an HDMI, make sure that the audio is coming out of the audio jack and not the HDMI.
Sorry about this.
Nice.
All right, so let's restart that.
I'm Robert May.
I'm Allison Pierce.
Philip Gilbreth.
I'm Michael.
I'm Megan.
Jack Patton.
Ben Woolridge.
And we are Furrlo. So what Furrlo does is facilitate the pet sitting process through using to-do lists, adding your pets, and then adding tasks as an owner that the sitter then can complete, and it'll show up as completed for the owner so they know that what they want getting done is getting done on time.
So for our backend, we found a free web server, 000webhost.com. And that included MySQL and PHP-MyAdmin. So we stored data in a MySQL database and used Notepad++ for file transfers.
Now we'll do a live demo.
Oops. Not that one. Here. Sorry about that.
So this is my phone.
There it is. Okay. So here's our icon. We can open it. Not long. Press it. What?
Oh.
You can use the one on the podium if you want.
Oh, no. I can just use this one. Okay, so when the first time you open the app, it opens it up to the owner. We already entered in some pets to show off our icons. But if you were to be a sitter, you could go to settings up here, and you just click the sitter. The colors of the background are different to differentiate whether you're an owner or a sitter. And then this also appeared on the owner page. If you didn't have any pets, it would say you don't have any, and you just tap the plus button on the top to add one. Before we go back to the pet page, though, I'm going to enter in my phone number and my email. Not really my phone number, but you get it.
And the purpose of entering a phone number and email at this point is so they get added to your trips, which we will get to in a moment. So when a sitter pulls your trips, they can easily have access to your contact information.
Okay, and for the sake of the demo, I'm going to add one more pet. I'm going to enter in And then the only things that are required are the name and the breed, because I figure not everyone really wants to go through the time to describe their dog, what they eat and all that, because you can list that in the to-do list. Dang it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, and then when you press submit, that button will only appear when you have the required parts. It'll then save it as core data for owner, and you can go back and view it, and it'll also send it to the database if you were to be a sitter, and it'll just pull that information back and it'll display it the same way, only the background will be different. You also have the option to delete the pet. That'll delete it from core data and from the database. And then next you make a trip.
So to make a trip, it's pretty much the same process. You click add up here. You start by entering in your trip name. Now here, all fields except for address line 2 are required, and you also need to have a pet before you can actually create a trip, because it doesn't make much sense to create a trip without having a pet. You know whether or not you can create a trip if the submit button up in the upper right hand corner is actually enabled. So I'll say I'm going to NYC on tomorrow, and we're ending that on Monday. My address this is actually my address, so you can come and visit me, say hey. And then once you type in your address, just so you can have a visual confirmation of where you're at, this map updates at the bottom and pinpoints exactly your address, so you are certain that you're entering in the right address. Then you submit, and it pops up here. And then we will go to adding tasks for your pet.
Alrighty, so now that we have a trip and pets, you see the to-do task list. Loads up all the section headers of all the pets. Then we can go to add task. You select which pet, so let's add a task for Nemo. We're going to say feed Nemo at 4:30. And then the trip. Then we're going to submit that.
Sorry about this.
So we're going to try to feed him at 4:30.
You should move the screen down so I can see.
Guess technical difficulties on the phone.
Sorry about this. I think there might be a restriction on adding a task if it's not counting the trips correctly. I think it might not be counting the trips correctly right now. I think if we add another trip, that should fix it. Sorry to be troubleshooting right in front of you. I know, not professional, but I apologize.
Do you want to show it on this?
Yeah, let's try to get to this on the simulator.
I was working on the simulator earlier. Alrighty.
We want to make sure we get the task working right, because we do consider this to be one of the main features of our app. The whole point of having an app for pet sitting is to make sure you're helping keep your sitter accountable and knowing exactly that the sitter does complete the task that you want for your sitter to complete. So we really want to make sure we get this working right. Is the server?
I can't check it right now.
This is working before.
Promise it worked last night.
see yours?
That's right. We've got a great PR team.
None of our server queries are working. Yeah.
Okay.
None of our submits are working.
While they try and work this out here, we're going to talk about our marketing plan.
You added a pet?
Basically, any product, especially one that's as potentially valuable as ours is, needs to look at everything going on around them in order to position themselves in the market most effectively. Our SWOT analysis gave us great insights into how we want to market Furrlo in order for us to reflect our core values and to distinguish ourselves from the competition while showing pet sitters and pet owners that, hey, we have a viable solution for a real-world problem. Like we touched on earlier, our traditional demographics really are pretty useless for defining our target audience because our target market is anybody who is stressed out by the pet sitting process. The people who are actually caring for the animals or the people who are actually worried about their pets when they are away from them. Furrlo is here to alleviate those stresses and to fill a void in the marketplace. Our competitors, yeah, no problem.
Have you brought up a browser to see if you actually have a network connection, given this is
We're
campus?
checking if the server's up.
I would just bring a browser and make sure you can
Yeah.
connect to the internet. 'Cause
Well, oh, see, yeah, we're.
Say go for the new tab. Okay, keep going. You can keep talking.
Oh, right. Our competitors, Rover and DogVacation.com, have have yet to address the issue of accountability. We're not here to match owners and sitters. Instead, our marketing plan will solidify our focus on facilitating the pet sitting process. We realize that it's going to take a multitude of tactics and mediums to get our message to the people that it needs to get to, but we believe that when they do receive these messages, they're going to be comprehensive and cohesive. Accountability and peace of mind are staples throughout our entire integrated marketing campaign, from digital advertising like behaviorally targeted display ads, native content, blogs, social media, to out-of-home advertising that'll boost brand awareness, like stickers around dog parks and cat playgrounds, which is a thing, and to even incorporating NFC technology, which is near-field communication, where you can just hold your phone up to a poster or a sign, and you can immediately download the app right there. Our goal, or our main goal from a marketing standpoint, is to get as many people as we can to think about Furrlo and know it's a handy tool to keep your furry friends safe, happy, and healthy.
So I do apologize. The server is down. It's one of the downsides of using a free service to host.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
So while they're doing that, I can talk about the features that we weren't able to put into the app due to time constraints. So one of them was having your pet's pictures added to the profile. So instead of that default image that we made, since we didn't have time to implement that feature, you would have a picture of your pet. In addition, next one, we want to differentiate task types. So to say, okay, this is a food task, this is an exercise task. That was something we had in the original plan. We weren't able to implement it due to time, as well as the time constraints that we had on the task. So in our first original plan, we wanted to say, oh, I want to feed my cat at 6 p.m. So instead of doing that, which we talked about with Ruben a little bit, we wanted to say, okay, you can add in some details, and if you have a certain time, like between 6 and 8, you can add that in, but we didn't want to make it really restrictive. So we wanted to kind of empower the owner that way to be able to say, okay, this is the exact time. Other features we weren't able to implement was the GPS locating of the sitter. We wanted to be able to make sure that the sitter was at the address that you specified in your trip, but that wasn't able to be implemented due to time constraints of the class. So some future features that we thought about implementing in later versions were notifications. Since those cost money, we weren't able to do those right now, as well as putting priority levels on tasks. So saying this task is the most important, feeding is the most important, exercise is a little less important. So also we wanted to export data to native Apple apps like Reminders or Calendar, so that you can implement Furrlo and integrate it into your usual Apple experience, as well as photo galleries for each of the pets, so that while the sitter is sitting the pet, they can add a couple pictures, and when the owner goes on to look at the trip and the tasks and all the other things, they can see those pictures attached to their pet. So as for value proposition, we think that if our server wasn't down, Furrlo would be able to help facilitate the pet petting process by helping with accountability, creating peace of mind for some pet owners who are a little more particular about how their pets are being taken care of. And we think that being able to kind of expand the market to include babysitters and house sitters like our competitors we're talking about would allow for some expansion into the market. We can be able to reach a bunch of different audiences that way and kind of edit a little bit of that to make that possible. So we think Furrlo, if it was working.
Yeah, so I just wanted to explain the tasks real quick. So unfortunately, yeah, the database is down, but what you would do is, you add a certain task to a certain pet. That pet's going to be the section header, and it's just going to parse that data. Once you have your to-do list, then you would invite a sitter, which is an email prompt, and it would shoot a trip ID that sitter would then accept. Then when they view it, it's going to show the same list, except you'll be able to mark that task as done, which is going to send a value to the server, which is going to update the owner's to-do list and let them know that that task was completed.
So in case you can't follow that, I can kind of walk through it visually. So as an owner, you open up the trip that you just made, you click invite a sitter, it prompts up an email with a trip ID. On here, you would click confirm trip, you would type in the trip ID, click submit. It would then pull that trip and all of the associated information with it onto this window. It would also pull all of the pets, all of the owner's pets, and all of the owner's pets information into this view. You would be able to click on each of those pets, see detailed information about each of those pets. Then in this to-do, it would have the exact same view of to-do tasks, items that it did on the owner's side. You'd be able to click one, it pops up with an action sheet to where you can mark as done. You tap mark as done, and then on the owner, next time he views that to-do list, he sees a little checkbox right next to it.
So we're at the 150, and we got to get the last two. And I want to say, don't freak out over the fact that it happened. I can see what you put into it. I did want to compliment you on the map in the place where you're getting the address as a confirmation of that. That was really pretty cool. Anything in the last minute?
Just remember when you're doing forms to make a lot of scroll up so that you know the way to keyword.
And there was a few form elements that went smack against the left edge, so the first character was there, some minor things.
One other thing is, if you have technical difficulties, it's not an if that it's going to work, it's when. So be confident, you're going to fix this, it's going to be okay, the app is going to be awesome.
And this is another reason why video demos are a good backup.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.